Hello. And okay, so hi. We want to talk about in a little bit more detail Straw Dogs. I did a short on it. Well, like I talked about it, like in short format. I wanted to talk about it a little bit more in this. I don't know if it's the lighting or I actually like forgot to like put moisturizer on my face. But yeah, anyways. So the movie starts off with James Marsden and his wife, who's an actress, and he's a screenplay writer, coming back to her hometown, this little country town. I don't live in a small town, so to speak, but it's not a humongous city either. But I could understand like the slight hesitation of not wanting to come back to your hometown, because most of the time the people don't, like, they haven't mentally moved on. They're still stuck where they're at because they're still there and nobody's like moved on. Plenty of people, like, they were the greatest on the football team or greatest in some specific sport in school, then they graduate or barely finish, and they keep thinking about the glory days because that's when everything was right for them, and they don't move on from the glory days, and everybody's supposed to praise them about the glory days even though everyone else has kind of moved on. Oh yeah, James Woods is in it too, and he plays the coach, like, that is an alcoholic, and the only thing he cares about is football, keeping his teenage daughter away from what they would call the town creep, but clearly he had mental issues. But this is in the South where most of the time people take that with a grain of salt, even though they shouldn't. So anyways, they arrive back at her hometown and they go to her old house. I guess she was left dead after a parent or two died. And so they go back to their house because they're gonna live there. And they enlist the help of her ex-boyfriend, which, girl, how did you not think that wasn't a bad idea? Her ex-boyfriend and her old high school friends, who are still friends with her ex-boyfriend, real country guys. But yeah, so anyways, they introduce themselves to, like, the husband, and I could see, like, granted, I've seen the movie before, but I could see through that, like, a mile away, where, like, they were trying to pretend like they were being, like, buddy-buddy, but it's, like, really, they had ulterior motives, and that was clear as day. And James Marsden's character did not see it whatsoever at all. I was amazed that he didn't catch any of that. So then James Marsden, he goes to the bar. The character's name, his wife's character's name is Amy. And so they go to the bar, you know, just hang out for a bit. And it's a small town. And I guess this is the only source of fun because everybody's there, including the coach's teen daughter, which is very interesting and very wild because there's no way my dad would be letting me in a bar at the ripe age of 16. That's as far as I go. And then, like, you know, they ask how things have been, saying she's like big money now because she moved away, and sometimes you need to do that. Not all of us want to be stuck in a small town mindset if we have bigger dreams, which Amy just so happened to have bigger dreams. So as time goes on, it's very apparent that the coach and Amy's ex-boyfriend and her ex-friends, the guys, they clearly are like just menaces to Amy and her husband. Like straight menaces. Like just because. And they also go to church, but then they hide behind that cloak because they aren't authentic with it at all. So then Amy and her husband are trying to get accustomed to the small town life, because Amy's husband came there to work on a screenplay. And so I guess he's on very borrowed time, but then they're also getting the house fixed. So I was like, I couldn't understand that, or I was confused about it like the whole way through, because why would you be trying to fix up the house and you're only gonna be here for 6 weeks? Kind of pointless to me. So then, more time goes on. James Marsden's character, he gets to know the town more, gets to know Amy's ex and his friends more. But it's very apparent these people only have a few things on their mind: church, football, and bullying people from out of town. Like, it's very apparent. Oops. So then, at one point of the movie, Amy is taking a jog. Unbeknownst to her, they're behind her rowdy ex and his friends. And she has an earbuds, which, as a woman, you have to be careful about that, okay? You gotta be careful about that. So then they're running up behind her with their truck, and Amy doesn't know. Because if you've ever seen The Roommate, when she's jogging and the music is like overpowering like the other outside sounds, that's what that scene reminded me of with Amy. And if you want to, it's on Tubi for free, so you know. Sorry. And so yeah, that part happens, and then eventually Amy's ex-boyfriend tells the driver to stop, and he is the most disgusting of the bunch, the driver and the ex. Because there's a part in this movie where Amy gets violated, if you catch my drift. Like, it's astonishing, that part. And poor Amy, she could not tell her husband, because just so traumatizing. She literally couldn't even speak up and tell him, because like she was so traumatized. And it was 2 of them that did it. 2, not even just her ex. And she tried to tell her husband about them mowing her down, and he was like, well, you weren't wearing your bra, and quite frankly, if you had been doing that, it wouldn't have happened. This is the moment where you're supposed to be on my side, not telling me that it's like my fault. Like, be for real. So then, like, she tries to tell him about the incident. He's like, whatever, essentially, and brushes off like what happened. Like, come on. So then, yeah, she tries to tell him about getting mowed down, running towards her house, and he like brushes it off, tell her she should wear a bra, and she's like, you know, I dressed for you, and her husband's like, well, and you still let these men oogle at you, okay? Cover up. Be a nun, okay? That part made me so mad. And then the next part, when they violate her, like a little bit on